Hi everyone, my name is Bimi and I'm the owner of Shikara Studios. So today I want to get into a very short but also important topic, and that is 4 key tips on selecting the logo for your brand. Now this is definitely one of the more fun parts of the branding process. You get to select colors, fonts, designs, all that kind of stuff. So yes, it's fun, but we also want to keep in mind that we should be selecting a logo that's just as functional as it is beautiful. So I'm going to get into 4 tips to help you do just that. So let's get started. Tip number 1, your logo should be able to work in just black and white, plain black and white. Now, if you plan on being around for a while, you're definitely going to come across a time when your logo needs to be in just grayscale. For example, if you're a brick and mortar store and you print receipts for your clients or for your shoppers, you'll find that most receipt printers print in black and white. Therein, your logo is going to be in grayscale. So you want to make sure that you are not depending on crazy colors or pretty gradients or textures even, that you're not depending on those 3 in order for your logo to work or in order for your logo to look good. You want to make sure that it looks just as good in black and white as it does in color. Number 2, you should definitely be notified on whether or not you might need a license for the fonts. Now this one is a big one that not many people know, because a lot of the time when you're working with perhaps amateur designers, they'll just slap on whatever fonts they want without telling you, hey, you need a license for this. And now license fees are kind of similar to using stock images. So you might purchase a stock image so that you can use it on your website, but that gives you permission to use that image for like a for-profit organization. So yes, some fonts do require you to purchase a license. So definitely ask your designer, hey, are any of these fonts being used a font that would require a license? The reason why I say this is because you do not want to run into a situation further down the road where a font designer is chasing you because you were not compliant with the law. We want to make sure that we are good in that aspect. We do not want any legal issues. So ask your designer about license fees. Tip number 3, your logo should be adaptable. Now let me give you an example. Let's say you had a logo design and it is just absolutely gorgeous. It's in this long rectangular form, horizontal in all its splendor. But let's say you need it in a circular form, perhaps for Instagram, or a square form for Facebook, LinkedIn, what have you. Does that logo still look good in those platforms? And if not, what do you do? Do you shrink it? Do you stretch it? Do you crop it? Hopefully you don't have to do any of those things, because if you do, it might become really evident that that logo was not designed to be that way. So what you should do instead is ask your designer for different formats of your logo. For example, you can ask for a stacked a stacked format, which is the icon on top. If you have an icon, the icon on top and then the text or the logo font at the bottom, or an inline form, which is the icon to one side and the text to the other. So ask for these different kinds of options just so that you are covered in every space and your logo looks good in all conditions. Number 4, and this is my last tip, this is that you should ask your designer for logo guidelines. Now, logo guidelines are a little similar to brand guidelines, but I'll go over what those are in another video. So for logo guidelines, they sort of act as a holy grail as to what your logo should look like at all times. Now, a lot of the time, companies will do this because, for example, they may start with one designer who created the logo, and then further on down the line, they decide to go to another designer who may do the packaging instead. And so that set of logo guidelines, the first designer can pass on to the next designer, and they can use that so that they know exactly what your logo should look like when they are using it. And this set of guidelines includes information like, let's say the kerning, which is the space between each letter, dimensions that should be allowed for the logo, like the size variations. Other information could include like the color combinations that could be around the logo. A lot of detail does go into this. So if you plan on being in a lot of different platforms, whether it's print, web, what have you, definitely ask your designer for a set of logo guidelines so you have them on hand. All right, you guys, those are my 4 tips on selecting the right logo for your brand. I hope it's been helpful. If so, definitely go ahead and like this video. If you liked it even more, go ahead and comment below. And please let me know what you would like to kind of learn about in terms of branding for your clothing store. I'm really excited to just pour into you guys and share the knowledge that I have. So if you have questions, go ahead and leave them down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye.